guys, this video is going to be just a quick update on my foundation, contouring, blush, and highlighting routine. I just did a really quick, basic little eye look and popped on some matte liquid lipstick because I didn't want to come on here for an intro and an outro with just like bare face, well not bare face because it's all done, but you know what I mean. So I went very bare minimum, which I've actually never done, so it was a completely different look for me, but these lashes are so cool. And these are the Koko Lashes in number 201 that I told you guys about and I have worn before. You can see I've got a couple of flyaways happening. But if you guys want to see how I do my makeup for all of my YouTube videos, because I've been doing a ton of eye tutorials and I do my face off camera, I walk you through step by step, right from priming until the setting spray on exactly what I do to achieve my on-camera face. And then I tell you what I kind of changed a little bit for my day-to-day life makeup that's not so like packed on. My dogs are playing when I'm not filming. So if you care to see that, then just keep on watching and I will see you soon. So I'm going to walk you guys through my updated foundation, contouring, blush, highlighting routine that I do on camera because I do so many different types depending on what the event is, but I want to show you guys what I do to achieve the look that you guys see every day on camera. So I always have a little excess oil left over from showering and moisturizing. So I literally just, the first step is just to take off the excess because I like uber hydrate, so I don't want anything left over on my eyelashes for when I do get to eye makeup. So once that's done, I need to pick out a primer. Now I have 6 primers that I switch between. In the summer though, I have 2 that I love, and those 2 I don't use in the winter really. The Becca Backlight Priming Filter is such a go-to for me in the summer because it's so lightweight, light moisturizing. It's not heavy or cakey or anything. Like it's just, this one is beautiful in the summer, but I don't use it in the winter. But if you saw any of my July, August, beginning of September videos, this was my primer. And then I just have a sample of it because I got this one right kind of in the transition to fall. But the Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer is amazing, and it resembles that Becca one so much that I will be purchasing a full size of this come springtime, summertime, because I do really love it, and it's coconut water, probiotic based ingredients, and skin revivers, and it's silicone free. So this one I really do love, but it's just a nice light one for the summertime when it is really hot outside. So my go-tos right now have been between these 2. The Guerlain Lore, oh my god, I'm tired. It is the first thing in the morning and my puppy, one of them, is sick and he kept me up literally the whole night, so bear with me. This one is really awesome at giving a little bit of firmness, but it's really grippy on the skin, so your foundation sticks to it like awesome. I mean, it spreads and it blends and it's great, but it does hold the foundation, and I love that. The Becca Resurfacing Primer is a line and pore minimizer, and this one is also really great at having the foundation stick to it. So when you're doing your face, if you don't want anything to budge or you're having a little bit of texture issues, anything like that, little bumps, this one is what I grab when I'm having like a skin texture issue day. And then these 2 I received as samples. I already purchased the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer in full. I'm just using up my little guy before I open up the full one. And this one is really great. It is a lightweight, but it is kind of like a full coverage primer. So it is kind of like a happy medium. And I believe this one has SPF in it, but it doesn't say it on the little tester bottle, so I'm not 100% sure. And it comes out white, but it just really gives the most silky finish ever. Like as soon as you put it on your face feels like you've layered silk on top of it. It is so amazing. But I'm not gonna lie, my new favorite that I just received as a sample is this Bobbi Brown Skin Smoothing Pore Perfector. And I got 2 of these little sample ones, and I really want to order a full size. I just haven't because I'm like, I have all these primers. Like, be responsible, Tanya. It's the end of the year. Things are tight. So I'm being responsible and I'm waiting. But this one is actually my favorite right now. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the Bobbi Brown. And it comes out white. So it just looks like cream. I should zoom you guys in. Probably not a bad idea. And this one is like a perfect amount of grippiness for the foundation too. But it really does smooth out everything that's going on with your face. And I get little pimples and texture that time of the month. And this one ends up leaving a super silky finish too. I can't understand that. It is so crazy how it's just silky. It's not silicone and bally and chunky. It is just this really wonderful, smooth primer. So I love this one. Next, I take my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, put a little bit on the back of my hand, or I just put it straight onto my finger. And this one is such a pain in the butt because so much comes out, but I only use this for the top of my eyes because to me this one is such a great concealer and primer all in one. And I use my Morphe E20 to buff this all in and cancel out redness and veins. Then if I need a little bit more, I just dip the brush in and I go back over it. And my eyes are running again. This feels so weird right now because I've gotten so used to doing eye tutorials for you guys where the face is the last step. So I'm working backwards. I mean, I always start with this part, but to be going right into face now is the weirdest thing in the world. So now I do a little color correcting of my under eyes because I get the darkest circles, and I use Urban Decay's Naked Skin Color Correcting Fluid in Peach, and this is magic. This makes you look like you have not been up all night. It really cancels out all of that dark veininess. So I do one swipe with one side and one swipe with the other side. And then I just use the same brush to buff that out. And see, it just magically disappears. And we haven't even gotten to foundation and concealing yet. This stuff is gold. Then when I'm filming, I always use the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I mix number 3 and 4 light beige and medium beige. And this gives such a full coverage, flawless look on camera that this is just the only thing I will use when I'm filming. I do love to wear this one when I go out, and this is an $11 foundation. It is so good. If you end up going heavy-handed though, it can look cakey. So if I'm in a rush, I like to grab something that is not so time consuming to blend out, because this one can cake up easily if you're not taking the time to blend. But to start my process of pretending that I'm tanned, I will take number 3 and put a pump on the back of my hand. And then I will take number 4 and also put a pump on the back of my hand. And you don't need that much if you're wearing a turtleneck, but this is because or if you're matching your actual skin color, but because I'm not and I'm making it look like I'm tanned, I have to drag this all the way down my neck and my chest. So I need a lot of foundation to do this whole area. So then I will dab, 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 dab down here. And then I will first start buffing and see where I get. I have still some on my hands. I use my Morphe M439 and I start buffing it out. It's more like pouncy motions. But it is so much easier to just add more foundation than it is to take away. And you really want to make sure you get up in your ear and blend out, because if you leave that, you can't see when you're looking at yourself straight on, but people see you from all angles. So you want to make sure that you're getting every last like crevice, nook, and cranny of your face. You want to run this over your mouth like that, so that way every little bit of skin gets covered. Not so that your lips are concealed, but just so have foundation, but just so that way all your skin is covered right around your mouth. I'm gonna do my neck next because my hair wants to go into it. And the color always looks so funny on camera when you're building, but you guys see the end result and it doesn't look like yellowy or anything like that, but it does in the stages of doing this. So that's why I always tell you guys, you just have to trust in the process and keep going through all the steps, because the end result will be a great payoff. It just looks really funny along the way. See, now I have a little bit extra. I'm gonna just dab the littlest amount and build a little bit more. But you really want to push it and pounce it into your skin. Some people like to use a beauty blender. That Artiste brush, it is totally preference. I haven't tried the Artiste brush, but I so prefer this brush over Beauty Blender when it comes to buffing out foundation and concealer. Well, this one for concealer, but I think the only time I prefer a Beauty Blender is with liquid highlight. Okay, face is done. I'm gonna wipe the rest of it off the back of my hand before I make a mess and get it all over my hair and everywhere else. Now it is time to conceal. Now, listen, the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer was my ride or die forever. This concealer is amazing, but if you can get your hands on the Tarte Shape Tape, like all the buzz and hype about it is legit. It is the best concealer in the world. I've never had anything like it. It is a huge doe foot applicator, like huge, but they're always sold out of it. So if you cannot get the Shape Tape, the next best one is honestly the Naked Skin. It is so good, but I have the Shape Tape. It took me forever to be able to get it in, but I finally did, so that's what I've been using. So I do a little bit under my eyes, a little bit on my forehead, just tighten the color. Same with on my nose and down on my cheek. And then we buff and blend using that same Morphe concealer brush. And then I keep a cleaning cloth on hand to clean this one up as soon as this part is done, because I am now done for the day with this brush, but I'm not going to do that on camera. This just gives such a full coverage, but not cakey, non-creasy. It's a beautiful concealer. I've never tried anything like this. And I always have such bangs and darkness, and I need Shape Tape in my life. At this point, it is time to set everything, because if you don't set your face, any other powders that you're gonna put on are going to get patchy. They're gonna stick to your foundation really weird. They're not going to just go on smoothly. Setting your face makes all the difference in the world. One, for your makeup to hold up, but two, just for like bronzers, contour, blush, highlight, everything to just glide on and not grab at your foundation and get patchy and weird. So I have the RCMA powder that I use more for baking my contour line, and I have the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I often use La Prairie one. It is really expensive. You get a shit ton because you get this big one. How many ounces is this? 2 ounces, and then you also get a travel size, and a little bit goes a really long way. But as I'm aging, and I'm almost 31, I look for a powder that does have at least treatment benefits. But if you're younger, you're in your teens, your 20s, it is so not a big deal. Use whatever setting powder you want, but as you age, it's worth the investment. I've had this for several months now, and I mean, there's a dent in it, but I do my makeup every single day using this powder, and I haven't even touched the travel size yet. So this is lasting me, and I'm doing makeup like 5 days a week. So I love this Kat Von D brush. It's number 25. It's this flathead. This gets under the eyes so perfectly and beautifully. So I always start with setting under my eye area. And this brush just like glides. And then once that is set down a little bit like that, I will then take a little extra to bake under the eye to try to avoid creasing and make sure that all of that holds up throughout the day. Now normally I set my upper eyelids with just eyeshadow powder, but because this is just doing a foundation update for you guys, I'll just set it with this. And this mattifies big time. So there are tricks to then make it more dewy again, like using highlight or that Tatcha Harper Luminous Dewy Mist, which I've used a lot of. So you can bring the dewiness back in if that's what you're looking for. But this powder just makes all other powders go on amazing. So I just take a really big fluffy brush. This is the Morphe E2, and it is just like amazing. See how matte my skin just got? You can also set your face with like Giorgio Armani has a luminous silk foundation compact that I think is like $62, and you can get a really light shade in that, and that won't give you any extra coverage, but that will set it. So you can also set it using a really light foundation powder. It's really up to you with preference. And then what's really important and gets so overlooked is taking the translucent powder and getting up in your ear if you are going to contour or do any kind of bronzer, because if you don't, it is going to stick in there and be a patchy mess. So you do not want to miss this area. So I go back with my little brush to make sure I get all up in where I'm going to contour. And then just in case I missed anything up in my hairline, I go over that. And right in between my eyebrows, because that is such a big brush. Okay, we are done setting. When you're kicking off your bake from underneath your eyes, you never want to just kick it off because it can grab at your foundation, your concealer. So you want to take some kind of a powder, whether it's even a bronzer, because I then go back in and bronze under my eyes. I don't like my eyes to be like a beaming white highlight. I just like my highlight here. So I take Hourglass in their ambient lighting powder dim light and a Morphe E48 brush, and I swirl that around and then I kick it off. And right in here is getting patchy because of my watering eye again. But if you're somebody who loves to highlight underneath your eyes, this gives a beautiful sheen. And you can even amp it up with a different kind of powder to kick off to brighten it up even more. Now it's time to contour. I use a Morphe M523 brush and Benefit Hoola bronzer, but it's been de-panned and put into a Z palette. So I take both sides of the brush and then I tap off the excess, which is really important with the Benefit Hoola bronzer. And then I start in the middle, but the purpose is to get it from the tip of the ear and contour straight down, but I don't like to have too much up here because see how everything really sticks to my hair since I'm so platinum blonde? And then just build. And then this is totally up to you. I mean, makeup is always up to you, but your contour desired level is a complete preference. What you're feeling that day, what event you have going on. On camera, it always looks so like boom, but in person, it's not. So the contour part, I really don't understand why it comes off looking so harsh on camera, because it really does not in real life. This I can't explain. It's not like that at all right now. But if we didn't use setting powder, this would be so patchy and it would be grabbing onto the foundation and it would not be gliding and blending out nicely at all. Now it's time to bronze. So I always bronze with MAC Gimme Sun, and this gives me such a hard time to get into the packaging, but it is just a beautiful warm bronzer, and I take that big Morphe E2, go over the cheekbones first because it's the high points where the sun would hit. You can contour your forehead and your chin, but I just take the bronzer and go over it with the big brush. You can contour your nose. But I like to be bronzed, so I just go for it. And if we didn't set the neck, this would so grab onto the neck foundation and be a patchy mess. So that's why it's important to set all the way down to your neck as well. And then I take a little Morphe E48 brush and I dip it in the bronzer, and I just put a little bit under my eyes because I like this area to be bronzed. Now I like to clean up that contour line and make it a little bit more sharp. So I take a Morphe M459, which is this flat brush, and the RCMA powder, and I just dip that right in there, kick it off. And then this is pretty intense looking, and this part you take from the middle of the ear and go down where the contour was from the the top of the ear down, and stamp it out. This you can also go all the way down if you really want to just have this like all white and cleaned up, or you can just do a line to kind of make it a little bit more precise. I've done both. Then I've been using all different kinds of blushes depending on the holiday looks, whatever it is, but my go-to for fall and winter has been this Hourglass Ambient Light Blush in Mood Exposure, because it is such a nice, like, plummy, just fall appropriate blush. So I will swirl my Morphe E4 in there, and then I like to start at the top, pull it backwards, so it gives your face a little bit more of that like cut defined look. And then hit the apples of the cheeks a little bit. Now I'm just gonna take the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Dry today because this one is a little bit more of an everyday highlight. I'm using an Morphe M501, but you guys could use something like a fan brush if you wanted to keep it even more subtle. You could wet the brush if you want it to be more intensified, but I'm just gonna hit the very top, bring it upward, swirl it around so it's not like a stripe, and then kind of just bring the excess down here. Then I'm gonna hit my nose, get the tip, keep it slow, little bit on the chin. And then I just like to go back over with my blush brush. Make sure that's all blended nicely. Then I just take a Morphe M527, and this one I don't use any extra powder for kickoff. It's not under the eye area, it's just on my cheek. Get rid of that, and you can see how it starts cleaning that up really nicely. And then we would do our eyes. So that is my go-to foundation routine for filming with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm gonna go get dressed and do my hair, and I'll be back for my final check-in. Oh, I almost forgot. Fix Plus. And yes, I soak it because Fix Plus brings it all together so nicely, so it looks really wet, but once it starts drying down, all of the powders and everything just come together so beautifully. So that is like an essential step in setting the face to make sure it's just like boom, not budging, and then we're all good to go. So now I'm gonna go get dressed for my final look, and I will be back. So as you guys can see, I ended up doing a very subtle eye look, and I popped on a little bit of liquid lipstick that I didn't do in the video because I realized for an intro and an outro, even though my face was all glammed up, I needed a little something something on my eyes and my lips, and I've never actually done this with my eyes, so I just popped it on off camera really quickly and then went and got dressed, and I had to run out to a doctor's appointment, so I kind of needed something on my eyes anyway, and now I came home, I'm filming this quick little intro and outro, and I'm back out the door to the vet because I have a sick little baby. He's got bad diarrhea. So I gotta go take him to the vet now, so I am back off, and I just wanted to say thank you so much if you guys watched this video. Leave me any comments, feedback, questions that you guys have. If you guys have any tips and tricks of your own, just anything. I love all of this back and forth that we got going on. I think that it is just so great and so wonderful, and it just warms my heart. I love it so much. I can't even begin to tell you guys. But that does it for this video. So until next time, good night, good morning, wherever you are. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.